Okay, my friends, we are back with another project here. We have a UC-15 not working at all. Customer dropped it off, asked me to check it out. He said it was working, then it wouldn't work, then it worked, and it wouldn't work. So I plugged it in, and nothing runs. I changed the fuse. I took the fuse out of the control board here, this little fuse. It's a 10 amp fuse. Replaced it with another fuse. This is a spare board, by the way. The original board is in there. Took the fuse out of the good board, put it in there, and it blew a fuse again. So I went out and bought some more fuses. Hopefully we'll be able to salvage them. We'll see what happens. I did check some of the wiring, but what I'm going to do now, I'm going to disconnect everything. I'm going to disconnect the compressor. I disconnected the pump. I'm going to disconnect everything up here and see if it still blows a fuse. Okay, so I removed the whole assembly. Get in there and I can just maybe do a visual and check out to see if I can see anything burnt or damaged in any way. I'll remove the board and see if I can see any burn marks in there. Got to start somewhere. I think that's a burn mark. Let's see. There's a burn mark. I don't know if you can see that on the video. That's the fuse. Alright, so I do have another board here. I'm not sure if it's good. It's been laying around, but I can try putting that board in and seeing if that corrects it. Now the guy did say it would work and then it wouldn't work for a couple of weeks and then it started working again. An intermittent problem like that. Not quite sure. So this board doesn't have a burn mark on the board. So let's swap these out. In the meantime, you might be wondering where all these wires go. You could look at the wiring diagram. I'll try to give you an idea. This blue and yellow wire harness goes to this blue and yellow harness. This goes to the board. This black wire coming in here goes into this control right here. This one here. And this 6-pronger is right. Let's see. This goes into the interface. This is for your lights. Transformer. This green wire goes to this green and yellow. That's a ground. This 6-pin plug goes into here, right? This one. This one here, that's for your thermistor connected to your condenser. All right, and these terminals over here, which are these small wires, the white, orange, and green. The green is the ground. The white and the orange are for the pump. And everything's pretty much marked. So let's swap out this board and see if we can get anywhere. Okay, here's what I did. I changed the control board. I got a good fuse in there. I hooked up all the wiring and I'm going to plug it in. The compressor is still disconnected. Plug it in. I hear it go on. The water valve just opened. You see the water coming out of that line? Power light's on. It's not blowing fuses. That's a good sign. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to hook up the compressor. Also, let's check and see if our pump is okay. Yep, that's running. Okay, so the only thing left is the compressor. So we're going to hook up our lead here to this terminal, and then we're going to plug it in, and if it doesn't blow a fuse, then we're going to know that there's something wrong with this board. Okay, so I'm going to jump out the compressor, run it direct, just to make sure it starts. Yeah, it's running. Okay, so right at this moment, we're going to diagnose this as a faulty computer board, because right now everything looks good. So I can't hook up the water just yet because it's freezing cold outside and the water is shut off to my garage. So we're going to have to wait to do that. But in the meantime, if you run into a problem like this, at least you have some way of checking the machine out. I will hold on to this and not finish this video for now, and once we get the water hooked up, we'll get back to it. So we finally got a warm day here, so I rigged up a water line and a drain, and this machine has been running now for maybe 20 minutes, a half an hour. It went through a harvest cycle, but it did not. And I'm putting my fingers into the mold, and it's not icy, it's not cold. So we need to look somewhere else. Aside from the fact that the spray nozzles need to be cleaned out, we'll do that. Get the spray pattern working, but we have seems like there's not much refrigeration going on here. So we'll pull the cover off and put a line tap valve on there and check the pressure, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we got the back panel off. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull this cover off the top. I'm going to remove the shield. This is a splash guard. I'm not sure if that's what Sub-Zero calls it, but it prevents the water from splashing onto the door and leaking out. The water is on, refilling the reservoir, but it's cycled twice, and the evaporator plate is not freezing, so no ice is being made. But also, our spray nozzles are not working properly. They're probably clogged up with calcium, so I'm going to remove this, and now I can remove this cover here, and here's all your nozzles. So we'll wait for the machine to start a freeze cycle again, and then we'll watch the nozzles, and you'll see the spray pattern there. Now the pump is kicked back in, and you can see this nozzle right here is not correct. This is a little off. The one in the back there is working really well. You can unscrew these, just unscrew these in place, and there's these little screens in there. Oh, there it is, it just fell out. Alright, we dropped it down there, and it's probably gone into the reservoir. Anyway, this comes out. This whole piece comes out. There's a clamp. There's one of those clamps right there. Alright, dropped the reservoir down. Here's the piece. This goes in here like this. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but there's calcium in there. Right here. See that? A little calcium in there. So what we'll do, which is what I always do when I do service on these machines, is you take these off and you just rinse them under hot water, or you can blow them out, either one, but that's how you clean the nozzles. Okay, so I got it off. There's a little challenge. Now you can see all the gook on here, and this is the kind of stuff that ice machines don't like, especially when you have these really tiny little nozzles. So what we can do here now is clean this stuff up. Even though we don't know what's wrong with the machine yet, we still can clean these up and get everything else working properly. To me, it looks like there might be a problem in the sealed system. We're not getting any refrigeration. So I'm going to soak all this stuff in some ice machine cleaner just to get all this crap off here. And then we'll put it back together and turn the machine on, and we'll check the sealed system. This is what I use to clean ice machines. This is a nickel safe ice machine cleaner made by New Calgon, and usually put a little bit, like maybe 4 ounces in the machine when you clean it. So we'll put 4 ounces here. This is hot water that'll loosen all the calcium up, and then we'll rinse it off and we'll put it back in there. So 4 ounces, that's enough. Okay, so we got our one, and then put this in there. Be careful with this stuff, it's caustic, so if you get it on your hands. Okay, so now we're going to clean off these parts with this little cut down paintbrush. Okay, let me get a pair of gloves. Alright, so let me finish cleaning up all these parts. Basically this stuff here, you just need to soak it. But when you rinse it, all the calcium will come out. This is stubborn. The hose is going to be stubborn because it's really caked on there, but it does come off. Alright, so let me finish this up and we'll come back when we're ready to assemble. Put our little nozzles in there, check them, make sure they're clear, and when we hook this back up you should see a tremendous improvement in the spray pattern. And you can do this out in the field. You don't have to bring the machine in. I mean, I actually carry extra nozzles in these caps here because sometimes they fall off, and usually they don't get lost because they fall in the reservoir. But anyway, this goes on like this, and you want that straight down, and then to put on this clamp, basically all you have to do is squeeze it. That's it. Okay, this is going to go like this. Alright, now we could leave the paddles off for now. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Now look at that spray pattern. Much better, right? Although the one in the back still seems like it's not working properly, not spraying properly. So let's take off the grid color here, remove that nozzle in the back, and see if maybe that thing is still clogged. I do. There's a little bit of debris there. Okay, let me clean that out. Okay, I'm going to put that splash guard back on, but first I want to see what the spray pattern. Okay, so now it's better. Much better. Okay, let's put the splash guard back on. Oh, there it is. Broke off. Why am I not surprised? Alright, so here is this washer. You see how it's shaped? So when you slide it over, and that's what holds up the pump once that bolt is in there. So now we have a broken bolt. Okay, so we're removing the pump. Now, why was the pump turning and not pumping? I am going to drill out that rusted bolt, and if not drill it out, at least create another hole right next to it so I can get a screw in there to hold up the pump. So I got enough space to get a C. So now all I need to do is get a larger bit and work that open. This is a 1/16 inch drill bit. Okay, I think I might open it up just a little bit more. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go up to a 1/8. So let's drill that out for 1/8. Use this oblong washer here, right here, and that'll hold it in, just like that. And you can see on the pump, pump goes in like this. So right here there's an indentation from where that washer was, and that's all that holds that pump in. I mean, it fits in there snugly and you have to kind of lock it in, but that's just a little support to hold it up. And I'll feel much better if we have that some kind of additional support in there. So I'm just going to open this up to 1/8. That's plenty. All right. Problem solved. So it's kind of right next to the broken bolt. Yeah, the bolt's still in there, but we screwed in right next to it. So that'll work. That'll hold the pump in. So that problem is resolved. So while we have it apart, we probably should just do a general cleaning, get all this gook off here, put it back together, and then get back to seeing why it's not making ice cubes. Okay, we got this thing cleaned up best we could, and we cleaned up all the parts, soaked them in chemical, got everything nice and clean. So now I'm going to try to get this pump back in here and see if we can. Oh, by the way, I meant to tell you, there's a seal around here. It looks like a rubber band. That's like a seal. Make sure you check that if you ever have to pull the pump out. So we're going to get this up there, just like that. So let me get the stainless steel screw and washer, and hopefully we'll be able to screw that in. I got it started. And this screw might be too big. Find out. That's a pretty nice save. We saved this machine. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to put the reservoir goes in like this, and that hose back there gets attached to this. So we have a clamp on there already. So we need to put this fill tube here in. It goes like that once we get that in there. Okay, so line it up where it was. And then squeeze. That's in. Now we need our overflow tube here, which goes in that drain, just like that. you go. Now it's in. Before I hook up this spray manifold here, the nozzles got clogged up again after I turned on the machine, which means there's probably some debris in the lines. Look, you could even see in there. So I'm going to run it without these to flush out any debris, and then we can clean the nozzles and put these back on. So this goes on like this. I'm going to have to pull that reservoir down again because I forgot to put the clamp on, which is right here, because it could be too far back. There it goes. All right, it's on. And what we can do here, maybe tighten it up a little bit more. All right. Yes. Okay. Manifold. Goes like that. This goes on top of that, but we're not going to leave this off for now. Okay, that pump is making a racket. So it sounds to me like the shaft is loose or the impeller is loose, and that's the reason why that pump was on before and it wasn't pumping water. So now we have to take this apart, pull the pump back out, and I'll see if I have another pump we can use to try it and see if it's going to work. So we'll put this one in. That's in. That's that. That's better. There's definitely something wrong with this pump. It sounded like this blade here, cooling blade, was rattling, or it could have been the propeller. I'm not sure if we can take this apart. I think you can take the motor off here, but this part here, this is all molded together. But we can maybe get in there and check the propeller and see if that's bad. It wouldn't make a difference anyway, because you just can't buy these parts. You have to buy the whole pump. I don't know, maybe this comes out, I'm not sure. But so we got water pumping. I want to flush out any debris that's in the system. Now let me go over and blow out these nozzles again. Nice. Oh yeah. We'll let it run, and then we're probably going to have to tap into the sealed system, and we'll do that next. Pull off this grill. There's two process lines right there, and we'll put a line tap valve on there and check the pressure. Okay, this is what they mean when they say don't hook this up to a manifold with long hoses. I'm using a short hose here. Right now it's in a harvest cycle. Water's coming in, compressor's off. Let's see what happens when it kicks in. Okay, it just kicked in. The pressure did not move. Just check and see if this compressor is running. I don't think the compressor is running. That's why it's not refrigerating. This black wire right here is the lead wire for the compressor. It supplies power to the compressor. So let's put our amp probe around here and see if we get a reading. No, not getting any reading, which means that compressor is not running, and that's the reason why it's not cooling. So now we're going to have to go up on the top and check the box in here. Okay, remember I checked the compressor yesterday and ran the compressor direct. So, what does that mean? We're not getting any power to our compressor. I found the problem. I had this lead wire hooked up to the wrong terminal. Now the compressor started up. I heard it. Let's see if we get a reading. Yep, 3.1 amps. That looks normal to me. Okay, so it looks like the pressure has come down. That's about normal pressure. So let's let it run for a while and see if it makes any ice cubes. Get ice. I got to put the paddles back on. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll just button this job up. So let's do a recap. We had a bad control board right here. This is burn marks right in these two terminals that connect to the fuse. And we also had a bad pump, which is over there. Maybe we'll take it apart and see what's going on in there, but in the meantime, I'm going to consider this machine fixed. But first I want to show you how to put those paddles back on. We got the pump, it's pumping water, it's making ice, the compressor's working. Okay, before we close out this video, just want to show you a couple of more things. I hooked up this harness here so I could run this pump, because we changed the pump and we want to know why the pump went bad. See what happens. That's what happens. So that probably could be fixed. I'm not sure. I don't usually bother fixing these pumps, but in this day and age with the cost of things, you might have to learn how to fix that. So let's figure out how to take this pump apart so we can check it, clean it, and do whatever. So this thing just, I believe, just pops off. Okay, that comes off. Now there's a little slot right here. If you push that open with a screwdriver, you see that starts to separate. Okay. I'm trying really hard not to do any damage here. Okay, so I didn't break anything. There's the impeller. I don't see anything there, and then when the pump is upside down, it doesn't make the noise. See? Something sounds like it's hitting. So let me get a 1/4 inch wrench here, and we'll take off and see if we can separate it more. Okay, so I took out the 3 screws. Something else in here, I don't know, that could be just pressed in there. Let me figure that out. Okay, I am at a blockage here. This is all loose, and it just appears to me that this wheel, this blade, is pressed on. I could just break the pump apart just to see, but I don't want to do that because I think this pump can be fixed. Something hitting in here. If I can take this cover off, I can maybe fix that blade so it doesn't make noise. The pump does run. So let's leave it at like it is for now. I don't want to take up your time. It's not that important, but if any of you guys out there know how to take this pump apart, I'd be willing to know, because we could save a lot of money there on the customer's end if we didn't have to change the pump and we can just service it. So there's a hole in here. I checked to see if there's a set screw in there, and I don't see anything. Or in here, and this is all, I can see the shaft turning in there, but that doesn't look like there's any way to pop that off except maybe a certain kind of a puller. Now I tried using this, but I don't want to damage the pump, so we'll leave that for now. And let's just reiterate what I've done to this machine. When it came in and I plugged it in and it wasn't doing anything, I checked the fuse on the top and the fuse was blown. This is the old board, and so I put a new fuse in and that fuse blew. So then I changed the board. Now what I put in there initially was a board I had laying around the shop, because if you noticed, that red light was blinking, and that usually means the board's no good. But it was good enough for me to check the machine, so I put a new board in. And the other problem we had with this machine, other than the pump, so the pump and the board, was that when we pulled out the bolt that holds up the pump in there, it broke off. So I had to drill that out, make a new hole so that we could get the pump to stay in. Those are the two things on this machine that were the most problematic. We also put a line tap valve on there and checked the refrigerant, and the refrigerant's good. The machine works well. Now I'm going to wait for another warm day, and then we'll go ahead and test the machine again before we call the customer and send it back. So that's about it for now. One other thing is that when you watch this video, it's not, the visuals are not great, because I keep forgetting the fact that I'm wearing a camera that's behind me. Basically, it's behind my eyes. And so when I'm working in there and putting my hands in the front and the light, it's blocking your vision. So I'm going to try to rig something up in my future videos where I can get a better close-up look at what I'm doing. And maybe I also got this, I call him Coach. This is going to give you another point of view. I'll turn those video glasses on and show you different points of view. And for those of you guys, people who subscribe and watch my channel, I've got a couple of interesting things coming up. Now I just picked up this Troubleshooting refrigerator, freezer, very much like a Sub-Zero. It's all stainless inside and out. It's a very expensive refrigerator. The customer wants me to rebuild it. So we got this project coming up. And then I just picked up this Sub-Zero 430 wine cooler that has a sealed system problem. There's a blockage somewhere in the sealed system. It's stuck in a vacuum. So it could be the switching valves or one of the switching valves. It could be a heat exchanger. We don't know. That's an upcoming project. So these two things and whatever else comes in. All right, that's about it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will be, by the way, like I said, the video, just be patient. There's some things in there that might help you in the future. See you next time.